been a pace 16 school year. You might have noticed I came up with this Fiat. If you read the fine print, it says, win a new Fiat 500, and it says it's a gas to teach class, and it's a gas to go to class. There are two programs we're bringing with the help of some partners from Desert Fiat. We're bringing a program that will help with our student attendance. So I want you to imagine one of our students this year who has had perfect attendance already from 9th and then through 12th grade this year will be eligible for this car, for a free Fiat. So that's fantastic for these partners. And they've worked with a couple of other school districts to where they extended it after a few years to teachers, and then later they extended it even to include classified staff. Well, they've been very generous in this first year they're working with us, not just for students, they're also offering this opportunity for our certificated teachers, and we're very excited about this partnership. So give our partners from Fiat a hand. They're going to join me up here real quick and wave. We have our General Manager Billy Mack, and Fleet Manager for Desert Fiat, Kevin Smilin. So give them a big hand. Absolutely excited about this partnership. You know, we've been on this journey together. I can't believe this is my start of my 4th year, and we've accomplished some absolutely incredible work. And I will tell you, I know we cannot complete this work alone. It takes leadership from the boardroom to the classroom across every position. All of you are our leaders in this district. We're the ones that make hope happen on a daily basis. But it can't happen if it doesn't first start with leadership in the boardroom. When you have a board and a cabinet that's in harmony, we spend all our time building programs, building people, building a successful school district, building a successful community. If you have a board, cabinet, superintendent that's in disharmony, and there's fighting for politics and all those kinds of things, it just harms the whole organization. You have division, people trying to defend what they're doing and hide and cover up and create silos. And I got to tell you, it has been my extreme pleasure to work with the San Bernardino City Unified School District Board of Trustees, our board president, Dr. Margaret Hill who are here, and several other of our board members. We have been a high-functioning team in our boardroom where there's deep professional dialogue around the things that matter. And I want to call our president, Mike Gallo, to speak with you for a few minutes because he does fantastic work leading this school district.
Yeah. Thank you, Dale. And I got to tell you, looking out over this crew, and I know many of you, I just want to personally thank you on behalf of the San Bernardino City Unified School Board and the Board of Education. Just personally thank you for your dedication and commitment for the years, many years of service that you guys have provided our students. And I'll tell you what it's doing, it's showing. We're seeing students be inspired and engaged and starting to get excited about school and some of the hands-on opportunities, the applied learning experiences that we're bringing, and just the enthusiasm that comes from an excited teacher, an excited staff, excited support team that rallies around students and shows them that you care. I mean, sometimes you may be that only bright spot in the life of a child here in the city of San Bernardino. You know, amidst our many challenges here in the city of San Bernardino, you are that beacon of hope. You are that beacon of hope. And it's more than just hoping for something. You know, that sounds passive. That's why we have the theme, making hope happen. It's actually turning it into action, turning it into reality, striving for excellence. We're going to be the best district this nation has ever seen in this country. That's where we're headed. And I tell you, I'd ask you to focus on that, focus on the aspirations, focus on heading to that place that we know we all want to be and can be, instead of fixing problems, looking at things, keeping our heads on the problems, keep our heads on the aspiration above. And I'd ask that we be better than we were last year, and I challenge you to do one thing. If you think of that one student, that one parent, that one perhaps colleague that you just didn't have the energy to reach out to last year, even though you may know you probably should have, Would you take that step of excellence this year, do that? And then concurrently, would you have fun? You know, I know you guys know a lot of people that, you know, you say, have a nice day, and they retort by, don't tell me what to do. You know, they're just kind of miserable people. Don't be a miserable person. Have fun at what you do. You really can. You know, happiness is a choice. You know, it's not a state of being, it's a state of mind. And so choose happiness, choose joy. Our kids will benefit for it, and I just thank you once again on behalf of the school board. It's been my pleasure to serve as vice president and president for these past 4 years, and really love you guys. I feel you're part of my family. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gallo. You know, it's actually very symbolic that we're here. I don't know if you noticed it when you drove in or not, but just across the way, and I can see it from where I'm standing, is a facility going up. It's 3 stories high, being built by Loma Linda University Medical Center, and it's a direct result of the kind of work that's going on in our community for our young people. It's the first of its kind in the world where we will have high school students, our high school graduates, interacting with other adults in medical professions and medical doctors, literally the only example of its kind in the world. And it's right here across from us. Because of the kind of work that this city and school district are doing together with our partners, we're creating not just one medical career pathway at one school, but multiple. Almost every one of our high schools has a plan to have a health career pathway in the coming years. Right now, we currently have about 16 pathways that are operating, with a plan that by next year we'll have over 27, even doubling the number of pathways and opportunities for our young people that we serve. Matter of fact, I want to name off a few just so you have a sense of what's in the works. But at Royal Valley High School, they have their core academy with agricultural and natural resources. They have their teaching academy, which is fantastic. I mean, I talked to a number of our teachers who were students in San Bernardino City Unified School District, went to Cal State San Bernardino, then came back to become teachers, and that's creating that round-trip ticket. Just curious, how many of you were students in San Bernardino City Unified School District, and now you're an employee, whether certificated, classified? Look around you. This is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Cajon High School, they have their health sciences, arts, and media, and their building trades academies. Indian Springs High School, their medical, and they're combining both their medical career pathway and advanced manufacturing to create a biotech engineering. I want you to imagine this for a minute. Some of our students right now, this year as they start the school year, are working on a real project for Loma Linda University Medical Center in biotech, where they'll be using 3D printers to print and through research and development, print a 3D printed prototype for a prosthetic limb. Coming out of our high schools, our kids working with our partners to create opportunities for them that's real world. Middle College High School, in addition to having offerings for their associates, for students, they also have a health science and medical tech career pathway in the works. Pacific High School has their academic design, visual and media arts, to name a few. San Bernardino High School has information communications technology, their public safety academy, a law academy for people who want to go into law enforcement or be lawyers, Digitech and engineering academies at San Bernardino High School. San G has an academy for finance and business, information technology, hospitality and tourism, and engineering. Sierra and San Andreas, not only did they both achieve full WASC accreditation this year, but I want you to get your head around this for a minute. We have kids at San Andreas this year because of what they're calling the Quakes Technical Institute. Students from San Andreas will be engaged in geographic information systems pathway, where they'll come out of that program with a certificate that will allow them to become immediately employable. That's the kind of work that's going on in our school district today. I firmly believe that within one generation we can turn this city around because of the kind of work that you are doing, that we are doing every single day. I mean, a real example of that's just across the street from us. The real outcomes of that are right across the street. And I look across this audience and the talent, the skill that's here. I mean, we have one of our teachers here, Randy Clyde, who was over at Cal State this morning, and he was sharing his work as a Common Core demonstration classroom teacher. How do you make this a reality? How do you do these kinds of things that we call hard? And you go into his classroom and he just puts it all together, makes it look easy, but we're doing the right kinds of things in the right way. We're building opportunities for our young people that are engaging them, and it's very exciting. And we're also now have solid pathways emerging from some of our elementary and middle schools to where some of our elementary staff have gone out to the industry sectors, looked at how things work, gotten certified in some of those sectors, and are coming back and teaching our kids to where I have observed a third grader on computer-assisted design on the computer, and then he's printing on a 3D printer, she's printing on a 3D printer the items she drafted in computer-assisted design programming. And that's in third grade. Our kids are capable of incredible things, and we're creating those opportunities right before their very eyes. Last year, we're very pleased, Hillside Elementary University Demonstration School earned our county's only National Blue Ribbon Award. That's a big kudo. Give them a big hand for that. Serrano Middle School also earned the Gold Ribbon Award, which is equated to the California Distinguished School Award. Every time one of our schools earns a distinguished award such as those, we have research that indicates the property value around those schools goes up by 7%. We're having an economic impact on our community as well as just a practical impact of our kids being employable. As a matter of fact, our historic graduation rates of 79.9%, less than 1% away from the statewide average, that was a historic high that hasn't been achieved since the 1970s. We should be very proud of that work because it took everybody to make that happen. And you know, some time ago, not only that, we had 3 high schools that scored had over 90% of their kids graduated graduated high school, 90% graduation rate. And one of our high schools, Middle College High School, hit 100% graduation rate. That's something that we should be very proud of. And some time ago, I quantified that for our city. I actually made a little small speech before our city council, and I said, our school district in our work just saved the city $55 million. Because when you quantify a high school dropout, then on average, it's about $300,000 cost to a city because of all the kinds of services and supports that need to happen when you have a high school dropout. Goes up as high as $1 million to our state when they're incarcerated. And we know the dropout rate, if you drop out of high school, your chances are like 70% you're going to be incarcerated. So by us changing that trajectory, it's added economic value to the city of San Bernardino. And that's why I said I believe within one generation we will turn this city around. It's very exciting. This last year also we had San Bernardino Valley Community College join with Cal State San Bernardino and our brand new Making Hope Happen Foundation, where we're working hard to guarantee 100 of our students the ability to attend college without having to provide the financial resources to do that. That's a very great opportunity for them. You know, one thing I want to bring to your attention, it's easy to miss. When I came on to the school district 4 years ago now, a little over 3 years ago when I came on, it was told to me that we had a mountain that just was not able to be tackled, and that was our personnel commission. And they explained to me the historical logjam that occurred where people just could not get hired. And we calculated if we were to hire all those positions, we could increase the employment rate in San Bernardino City by 3%. That's significant. And do you know that that team has been working together diligently now over the last year? They have they've filled over 600 positions. They still have a long ways to go, but they've filled over 600 positions because of the hard work they've been doing. And that's just fantastic news. And for the first time ever now, because of the budget improving, we're talking about things like pay increases. Holy cow, it's been forever. And finally, we have pay increases going on, and today we're starting to have conversations as a team around having higher among comparable competitive districts. Why? Because we want to attract and retain our high-quality talent to the San Bernardino City Unified School District. We want to be an attractive organization to belong to. Yes, the standards are high. Yes, the expectations are high, but we want to make sure our people are compensated at a high competitive level, and that's happening right now. But today is about celebrating you. We're the people that are making hope happen. We're the ones that are making the fundamental difference. You know, a lot of people look at our city and say, how can you see that this is possibly a great city? But I got to tell you, this is a great city. It's a great city because of the people that are making a difference. I'm reminded of a quote from Michelangelo one time. You know, everybody sees like a chunk of marble. Well, what Michelangelo said, he said, I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set it free. I saw the angel in the marble and I carved until I set it free. And you think about all the kids that walk by you and I every single day. And we know in the back of our heads, or we know front and center, exactly what they're facing. Insurmountable odds, unbelievable circumstances at home, abuses that shouldn't even be spoken of. And the challenges that they face and the hardships that they bring, and sometimes the attitudes, and they fight everything against you to be successful. And yet, in spite of that, you see an angel and you carve and you work at it hard until you set him free. And you're doing that kind of work every single day, and you're making it happen, one kid by one kid at a time. Whether you're a classroom teacher, a custodian, a campus security officer, an aide, you work in nutrition service, doesn't matter what your role is. Every single one of you are building the relationships with our young people, and you're making the fundamental difference. Last year, Brandon Busteed from Gallup spoke to us, and he talked about this solution now where we can begin to shift to an engagement culture rather than a teach-to-the-test culture. You know, teaching to the test is so boring. It's boring for everybody. It's boring for the teacher. It's boring for the student. What kids want is to be engaged. You want to be engaged. And so now, because of Gallup's work, we can quantify engagement. Matter of fact, we know when we move the dial on engagement by 1%, they've said that it equals 6 points gain in reading achievement, 8 points gained in math achievement, just by moving the dial of engagement by 1%. So if we first have a paradigm for engagement over a paradigm or a bias for testing, we're going down the right road. So I just want to continue to encourage you that we are shifting from a testing culture to an engagement culture. I want you to work hard to engage people first, engage our young people first. You know, this last year, I went on a road show and personally spoke face-to-face to every one of our high school students. All the 9th through 12th graders were gathered in one or two assemblies in the high schools. I think Arroyo Valley is the only one that had to videotape me to show the message later because they're just so doggone large. But as I spoke to the students, I told them about the kinds of things that are going on in the city for them. I talked about the facility just across the street, Loma Linda. I talked about Cal State San Bernardino opening the doors for them and the San Bernardino Promise. I talked about the Making Hope Happen Foundation, what's going on for them. I talked about the career pathways that are open for them. And then I shared with them my own personal story. I said if it wasn't for an adult in my own life, it was a police officer that came into my world when I was a young man and took me on a ride along and said, hey, I want to talk to you. And he talked some sense into me and said, you need to go in the service to get your head screwed on straight. And there were teachers along my journey. When I ran away from my apartment complex as a kid, I ran away to my elementary school or to some of my high school teachers I talked to. They were the ones that said something to me that caused me to stay engaged and to keep along. And it's that relationship they built with me that made the fundamental difference. It engaged me and set me on that trajectory. And I shared with the kids my own story because I wanted them to know we all have a story. And I want to encourage you, as Mr. Gallo just did a minute ago, I want to encourage you this year specifically. I don't care what your title is. I don't care your role. I want to encourage you that when you see the young people around you, know their stories. Make sure they know your story. Share your journey, share your story, get to know their name, get to know their story, what they're experiencing, what's going on in their lives. Continue to do the work you do of caring for them. I want you to get more personal with them than you've ever gotten with them before. I want them to know that we love them, we care for them, and we want them to be highly successful, and we'll move heaven and earth to make that happen. After I closed my conversation with our young people, I explained to them that we had a whole army of hope makers. They wear these orange shirts. They come together from time to time. There's a few in the audience now, but you know we have now over 374 hope makers that have been trained and know how to talk to kids and walk them from where they are to a pathway of success in a Nordstrom's kind of customer service model, to where when they meet a kid, they know how to talk to them and get them that next level of excellence. And I shared with the young people that these hope makers are going to be going around campus to campus to campus to campus, specifically at our high schools, and then we'll work to our middle and elementary as time goes by. But they'll be engaging them. I said, look for them in the orange shirt. But each one of you is a hope maker every single day. So I want to thank you. I want to encourage you to share those personal stories with the young people. And I also want to make sure that you continue to be like Michelangelo, and you see the angel and in the marble, and you work hard to set it free. Thank you very much for all that you do, and welcome to the new year. Enjoy the game. Play ball.